All right, dope, man. Well, hey, people got a chance to hear about you guys and, what you do and your background a little bit. Now they're ready to hear you on the show, man. And I'm really excited again. Thank you guys for coming on. Thank you for being a part of this. And let's start with the teams of the week. Teams and the players of the week. And I'm actually going to steal that. What was that again? That was GR3. What's the official name of the team? GR3?
Team GR3.
Team GR3. All right, so we're going to give a special shout out to Team GR3. So with our players and teams of the week, this is a special shout out to Team GR3, the exclusive travel basketball program of Northwest Indiana. We will let Brandon Grubel begin. BG, I'm going to call you, man. And we will begin with the conference team and the conference player of the week. You can begin on any conference. I would love if we can start with the Eastern Conference.
I think this one's a pretty obvious one lately, being from where we're from. Coach T likes to call them the Chicago basketball team, but I got the Bulls as my team in the East. They've won, up until tonight, they won 9 straight games. They did end up losing to the Mavericks tonight, but they had 9 straight wins coming into that. And then for my Western Conference team of the week, actually a couple here. The Grizzlies, kind of surprisingly, no one really talks about them. They don't really have any star player. But they have 8 straight wins coming in, and they got wins against the Suns, the Lakers, the Spurs, the Nets, and the Cavs. All pretty decent teams there. But also the Mavericks, 6 straight wins for the Mavs, including a win over the Bulls tonight. And they also have wins over the Warriors and the Nuggets. So those are my teams of the week for the East and the West there.
And with the Mavs, BG, they haven't had Luka in all those games. Luka just started coming back, and I think he came back for a game or two and then didn't play in a game a couple nights ago. So, I mean, the fact that the Mavs are even hanging on and showing what they can do, that's just a testament to their coaching and their program, man. And so shout out to Jason Kidd, man, for getting it done.
Yeah, I think Luka being in and out of the lineup this year quite a bit with different reasons. It's helping other guys step up and contribute a little bit more, so that when he comes back, they feel a little more comfortable. They're a little more well-rounded.
Zay, where you at? Who you got, man? Team and players of the last week for East Conference.
So I'm gonna have to go with the Bulls as well.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, and it's not gonna be too many times I'm gonna agree with everybody on the show, but I will agree with BG on this one. The Bulls, they just red hot right now, just playing great team basketball. A team that people thought that they would get to that next level, but they didn't think that they would get there that soon. For sakes, the Lions had them not even getting past 42 wins on the season. So I think they're definitely exceeding expectations right now, and that's definitely my Eastern Conference team of the week. For the player, have to go with Demar Derozan. He's just been on fire lately. Back-to-back games. First player in NBA history to have back-to-back games with game-winning shots, and also just leading the team just in many different aspects, but more so his leadership. And he scores 26.5 points a game, and he's on the boards, he's getting assists, but just when he's on the floor, you can just see how in sync he has the offense and everything going for the offense. And even when he's not producing, he's an impact on the floor for sure. For the Western Conference, I'm going to have to go with the Lakers. They were kind of falling off. People say they're on a 4-game win streak right now. LeBron, he's doing what he can do while the team is coming along with him. We chatted the other night and spoke about how that team, they have pieces. They definitely have pieces. They have youth, and they have the pieces in place. But the biggest thing that they have that other teams don't have is LeBron. He's going to make sure those guys keep their heads sane, and while they're going through this process, and it's a process, it's exactly that. So congrats to them, 4-game win streak for sure. And for my Western Conference player of the week, I'm gonna have to go with Moran. So Moran, he's been battling injuries himself, but just in general, just leading the Grizzlies to, as BG mentioned, to some great wins in general over some quality opponents. You can't really look away from what he's doing, even though he hasn't been at 100% due to injury. He's still averaging 25 points a game, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and he's doing it not against the little Sallies of the NBA. He's doing it against quality opponents. So I definitely look for him to continue having a big week or a big year and a big season. And he's a sprouting star in my opinion.
And who was that again? You're saying Ja Morant? Ja Morant. Yeah. So let me actually start with this. I'm going to start with the Western Conference since you just hit on the Western Conference. I agree with you guys that, I mean, the Grizzlies have been phenomenal, especially this past week. You know, they're winners of 8 straight. They have just been, I mean, they've taken down some giants. I think they beat the Nets last week. They definitely beat the Lakers last week. So they're just a team that, and again, we got to think about how they finished last year, right? They had a surprise season. They knocked off Golden State last year in the play-in. And they just have a young, youthful team that can surprise a lot of people. They honestly remind me a lot of OKC when they had Durant and they had Westbrook and they had Harden. Like the fact that they just are a young team that a lot of these older cats don't want to play. They don't want to play. And to me, Ja Morant is a superstar. He's that guy. So that will be my first team in the Western Conference. And I actually, on that team is my player of the week last week, a guy that no one ever talks about, ever talks about, but Desmond Bane, y'all. Like, and that's a local kid too from Richmond, Indiana. So shout out to him, shout out to Richmond, Indiana. But in the last 8 games that they've won, he's had, check this out, he's had points. He had 23 points, he had 11 points, he had 29 points, 17 points, 20 points, 32 points, 28 points. Yo, he be balling. And the fact that, let me check the stats on the year, he can shoot the blood out of the ball. He's shooting 42% from 3 this year, averaging 17.5 points and 90% from 3. Like, Desmond Bane is one of those guys. I think he has a great chance to win Most Improved Player for the Grizzlies. So I think he's done a phenomenal job. And another team in the West, not really talked about. They kind of flamed out a lot of. It's just not one of those teams that a lot of people want to talk about, and that has been the Minnesota Timberwolves. They are winners of 4 straight, and they have been another team that's gelling at the right time. So I wanted to shout them out. In the Eastern Conference, you guys talk about the Bulls, and I love what the Bulls have been doing. The Chicago basketball team, I should say. Sorry, guys. I love what they've been doing, but I love also what the Philadelphia 76ers have been doing. Who are my team in the East of the week, and then my player of the week in the East has to be their big man, Joel Embiid, man. The way he's been balling, he is a guaranteed 30-piece a night, y'all. Like, he is unstoppable. He is a new version of Shaq, in my opinion. The fact that he cannot be stopped down low. If you give anybody his size, he's dominating them. You give him somebody smaller than him, he's dominating them. You somehow find a joker that is bigger than him, which is hard to do. He is dominating him. He can score from all 3 levels. He's been assisting the ball a lot better. And again, he's a walking 30-piece. And the Sixers, they have won 6 straight, y'all. 6 straight. And again, they deal with all this turmoil that is Ben Simmons, who just collecting checks on the sideline and not having to play. But they dealing with all that, and Joel Embiid has put the city of Philadelphia on his back. So those are my players and teams of the week of last week. So I definitely like what you guys did there. I like that we had some variety, and I like the fact that in the NBA, there's really no clear-cut team and or player that is head and shoulders above anyone else. So I like that.
Can I hop in and give my players of the week? I forgot to do that.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Hit it. Give it to us.
So, I mean, I know this is going to sound, very generic, very, popular picks here, but I do play fantasy basketball, so I had to look up some stats over the last 7 days. In the East, you got Trae Young the last 7 days, averaging 40 40.5 points.
He had a 56 piece against Portland.
Yeah, 6.5 rebounds, 14 assists. But they are 0-2 in his last 2 games played against Lakers and Portland. In the East, you also got Giannis averaging 35 points, 9.7 rebounds, 6.3 assists in the last 7 days. And then over in the West, you got, Jokic. Jokic in his last 4 games in the last 7 days, 28 points, 15.7 rebounds, 7 assists. So, I mean, he's balling out too right now.
Yeah, I like it. Again, I mean, let me ask you guys this, and this is a spur of the moment, and you don't have to really answer who your pick will be, but isn't it cool to think about the fact that we have no clear-cut MVP right now? Like, we can each name 2 or 3 guys that have potential to win the MVP this year. And that's not traditional. That's not by this point. A lot of times you pretty much have a clear-cut guy, and then you have maybe 2 or 3 guys outside of them that have an outside chance. But right now, it's open floor for about 5 to 8 guys that can win the MVP this year.
It is.
Yeah, go ahead, Zach.
And to that point, I mean, but at this point in every other season, you would look at the LeBron and the Durant and be like, okay, well, these guys are going to win it again. And some people, the general population might be thinking that as well, because LeBron is averaging almost 30 points a game, and he's, 37 years old? So, I mean, and definitely hats off to him. But to your point, the youth in the NBA has been thriving this year. Ja Morant, the Luka Doncic.
I just say Luka. I don't even say his last name. I just say Luka. Trae Young.
Trae Young.
Yep.
The Demar Derozan, the Zach LaVines, the Darius Garland from Cleveland. They've all been thriving. There's a lot of different names from top to bottom, and that later in the show, like you mentioned, we'll be talking about all-star picks. It was actually hard. I'm sitting here looking at all these guys' stats and what they've been doing this year, and I'm like, man. And I even told you, like, the Eastern Conference, they are loaded with young talent.
You slept on the East, man. They still got some beasts in the East.
Yeah, I did. But definitely hats off to, I mean, that's pretty awesome that that many different guys, and it makes the NBA really exciting to watch.